We remain confident that our players haven't done anything wrong in relation to performance-enhancing drugs.
It's so special to me, it's so important to me, and I'm just so honoured to say that I'm a premiership player for the Essendon Football Club.
You know, instead of spoiling this one, I went up and actually took a reasonable strong pack mark that I don't do a lot, to be honest.
Trifecta. What about the spring in his leap there? He jumped over the top. Watson was unceremoniously cleaned up by Westhoff, which was good play by the Port Adelaide player. Sits up. Oh, yeah. Westhoff just got him with a good hit in the shoulder. That was a real rib tickler, that one, wasn't it?
This is, I think it's a left shoulder injury.
He looks very despondent on the boundary line there, Joe Watson.
The shoulder's healed really well, you know, the surgery went really well, and he'll have a look at the x-ray, and he'll probably be able to tell me when we're there what the state of play is. So he'll then ring Reedy and give him his results, but it's his call, he's the surgeon, so he makes the decision.
Right.
Greg, hi.
Good to see you. Okay.
The scans. Let me know.
X-rays are good. Let's go and have a look at the X-rays. Job's had an injury to the mid-shaft of his left clavicle, and it's an important skeletal connection between the arm and the chest wall. So when you injure it, you tend to collapse inwards. So the commonest cause of injury is someone coming in from the side and either landing on top of them or crunching them in between two players. Job suffered a fracture that is fairly typical. We did the surgery to put the fracture back in position for it to heal as quickly and as well as possible. He had some extra screws put in between the fragments to hold them together so that the plate that goes on over the top holds the overall construct or pattern together. You can see one of the little fragments of bone that chipped off during the middle of the injury is sitting at a slight different angle at the back of the clavicle, but it's made bone and joined on. You can see that coming through the edge here. The plates contoured down onto the bone, so you can use that to get the position and the angle right, and there are various different types of curvatures that are used. Your chances of injuring it are very low, but they're not nothing.
Yep.
So as long as you can wear that risk, and that's what a player does pretty well every day they go out to play football, because it's a gladiatorial sport, then I have no problem with sharing that risk with you, and we'll go into battle.
Terrific.
Being careful means not playing the game. I think that the nature of the sport is it's a collision sport, it's a high energy collision sport, and if he's not prepared to go in at 100%, I don't think his coach will want him to play anyway. The bone actually heals a bit quicker than the x-ray shows because bone forms before it calcifies, and so we're a little bit behind the view of what's happening in real life. So I expect that it looks like it's healed already, which means I'm sure it will have healed already. My advice is not to have someone too heavy land on top of you at a great rate of knots. So I know in and under is your style, but I'm hoping that you'll be faster this time around.
I'll see what Hurdy can do for me.
Yes. So play on someone light, that would work well.
I'll try my best.
I would like to get another x-ray after the game at some stage so that we can make sure there's no movement. If there's no movement after the first game, there will be no movement.
Okay.
All right?
Great.
Go away.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you.
Thanks, Greg.
Cheers.
Had the x-ray, and Greg was happy with how the bone has healed. We have our main training session tomorrow, and then it's just a practical and sort of functional sense now. So just feeling confident that I can do everything that I need to, you know, in terms of contact and feeling confident in the arm. So that'll sort of be cleared off tomorrow.
We had a 9-day break. It's a long year. It's obviously getting later towards the year, and players are pretty mentally just need a break. So it just mixes training up. Obviously a full session of training tomorrow, so it didn't hurt our schedule, and thought I'd give them a bit of fun and lighten things up, and with everything that's going on, it just relaxes the mind and a bit of fun. Skipper's always was good at everything, so I imagine he would have been nailing his bowls as well.
I think Ego just thought it would be a good idea for a bit of a circuit breaker, and Thursday sort of a bit of a not much to do today at the club, so it's just nice to go and do something else, and I think all the guys are enjoying just sort of spending some time with each other away from the club, and it's just a good activity. It's minimal stress, although when people become competitive, it always ends being taken more seriously than perhaps it should be.
I think it's really important for your schedule, and we keep finding times throughout the year where we just throw different things at them. They didn't know they were playing today, so it was a surprise. So I think it's really good for the mind, and yeah, just gets them going.
I was able to get a lot of conditioning in over the last 3 weeks, so I feel sharp. Just really looking forward to getting back playing. I was a little bit of apprehension because I haven't done it for a month, but when I thought, oh no, this is fine again,
Modern medicine is terrific, and they've put a plate in the collarbone and healed that very quickly. So the surgeon was very confident yesterday that he'd be fine. So as the coach, you let the medical team do what they need to do and coach the team. So obviously we're wrapped he got through, and this Sunday's a big test for us all. Job's obviously a great player of the AFL, and a terrific captain, and one of the best leaders in the competition. And although we've only lost one game without him, we've really missed him. I think his leadership out in the ground has been missed. You've got Brent Stanton, Hocking, Heppel, Goddard, Winderlich, Zaharakis, Hurley have all been terrific leaders for us. But to have everyone back together in that leadership group is terrific.
Since I got to the club, Job's leadership has stood out enormously. I guess his on-field leadership's amazing in the way I guess he goes about his footy, but the biggest thing is his off-field leadership, his standards at training. He holds everyone accountable as well.
Job's obviously going to leave a big hole when he doesn't play. He's a very good leader, and people tend to follow him whatever he does. So, but I think this group has matured a lot over the last couple of years, and I don't want to mention any names, but the whole group really stood up and took control of where we wanted to go as a football team and a football club. And I think that's shown that we can still perform at the highest level without our captain, but don't get me wrong, we still want him out there every week.
Collingwood are a very good side. We know that they're in a similar position to us. With 5 rounds to go, we know that the position that we're in, we need to strive for to win the next 5 games, and it's a very important part of the year. And we've put ourselves in this spot with how we've performed so far, and we now have the challenge of Collingwood this week and the next 4 weeks after that.
Yeah, I guess nothing will really change from my point of view with Job coming back in, but it's certainly great to have him back in. Always a massive game against the Pies, and everyone's looking forward to it.
Wet conditions, what great excitement. I'm sure the crowd will be trying to keep warm as well as watch the footy. Can't wait for the first bounce. Dempsey doesn't get any better for the no goal set. He's done a hamstring, I think. Dempsey or something. And he's got a history too. He's holding the left hammy. This day has started in appalling fashion for the Bombers, and it ain't getting any better just at the moment. And what a corner from the Pies. They've carved up the Bombers.
The problem for the Bombers, is they've just dramatically dropped out of their form in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Disappointing to to lose the tackle count by 30 on a wet day, and that led to an inside 50 count of plus 20. So we put our defenders under a lot of pressure, and you can't win weather footy games like that when the opposition have 20 more inside 50s. At the moment, we're not playing the way we want to play, and we've got to be able to rectify that as a playing group. We've got a month of football to go. We've got 13 wins and 5 losses, but we just got to get back to playing better style of football. We're obviously disappointed with how it went yesterday, but most of the guys have pulled up well. Some disappointing news about Courtney, but the rest of the squad's in pretty good spirits and physically have recovered pretty well. It pulled up well. I got a few knocks on it, but all in all, it was the surgeon made the right call, and I was fine to play. We feel as if we've got a great opportunity this week against West Coast, who are a good side, and we're going to get the guys ready for that game and prepare well. We're looking forward to having a good show this weekend, and hopefully as many Essendon supporters as possible can come and see another home game at Etihad for us.
The Essendon Football Club received the report on Saturday afternoon. And there were also copies of the report that went to our legal team, and so there's been a lot of midnight oil spent reading the report and consuming it. The report has now been termed an interim report, which suggests that it's work in progress. I guess from our point of view, part of the frustration that is now brought to the table with the interim nature of the report is that we don't know what other work is required, how long that may take, and of course the pain goes on for the club. We remain confident that our players haven't done anything wrong in relation to performance enhancing drugs, and our top priority has always been to get the players cleared so that they can focus on playing football and not be worried about the content of the report. So that will continue to be our #1 priority, but at this stage I can't tell you unequivocally that that is what the outcome will be. I think the immediate next steps for the Essendon Football Club in relation to the report is to obtain confirmation from the AFL that our players are cleared as a result of this report. We desperately want that confirmation because it goes to a number of things, not the least of which is the players and their families who are obviously concerned about outcomes from this report. We believe that our priority should be and always has been the players, so we're working very hard to make sure that confirmation one way or the other, we believe positive confirmation will be received. If we can clear some of the clouds surrounding this process as part of getting the players to focus on footy, I'm sure that will have a very positive influence on them. So I think the message is to the players and the coaches, let's focus on the footy. To the administration and the management, we'll continue to work as hard as we can to ensure that our natural justice and our rights are being protected.
You could argue forever who is the best team of all time, but as Jason said earlier, this is the best season we've ever seen. And is there a better story than James Hird? Well, maybe Barnesy and Wallace get close. This is just an incredible comeback by the Carlton Football Club. They are into the grand final. Carlton is into the grand final.
After 99, disappointing to lose the preliminary final. We went and watched the grand final together that year. Had a dinner after and spoke about what we needed to do to be a better team and to not let what happened in 99 happen again.
Everyone was sort of a little down after 99, the way it finished, but everyone was just incredibly motivated. And I remember clearly, we played in London in an exhibition match in about October 99, and then we went to Spain for a quick little footy trip after that. And I'll never forget, my memory of that is that in the gym in the hotel in Spain on a footy trip, guys in there working out every morning because they were so motivated. So the focus was all ready for 2000 in October 99.
Basically, James Hird, Scott Lucas and Jason Johnson had missed most of the year through, unfortunately, long-term injuries. Knowing full well that those three boys were going to come back in on a team that got beaten by a kick in a preliminary final, you'd think there's a fair chance you're going to have a good side the next year.
40 metres out, McCurry for goal. The Bombers rise as one.
The night grand final was a big game, and we came out, and I can't remember the score, but it was a hard physical game, and we won it pretty comfortably. And after that game, I remember thinking, well, it's a long way to go, but we're right here. If we stay on track and keep playing like this, we're going to be hard to beat.
Fletcher the hand pass out, McCurry, and Lucas onto it for a goal.
If there was a game where I think our resolve was tested or we were challenged, Adelaide at Etihad early in the year, I think we were 4 or 5 goals down at three-quarter time, and we came home hard and might have won by 4 or 5 goals in the end. I think Longy had a dominant last quarter, but it was just another game when we felt that stick to what we know and we will come good and play our best football, which we did in the end.
It's a great kick. He's kicked it. A magnificent effort.
By gee, I'll tell you what, losing that game against Footscray at that time probably taught our players more than what we'd learned for the whole year. This is how simple it is to lose a chance for a grand final, or this is how you could lose a grand final. It really actually switched our players right on.
The loss to the Bulldogs was disappointing, and then we didn't play well the following week against Collingwood, and that was the last round of the season. So, you know, a few people were potentially questioning us going into the finals, and then I think when we came out against North Melbourne in that first final, I think we won by 120 odd points. You know, in a sense, we're on a mission.
This fella's pretty good too, and there it is, folks. One of the greatest exhibitions of Australian football you will ever see.
An enormous amount of self-belief was evident in the team. All teamed really well together. We had our zones, we worked well, but never did we think we'd lose that game.
Listen to that roar. Who's going to the grand final?
I still think the eye was on the big prize. It wasn't, I don't think revenge or not for a lot of us came into it. It was all about what we needed to do on this day to give us a chance at going to the big dance.
Kicked into the forward 50, here's a goal, Lucas. Well, Scott Lucas kicks his first goal.
Yeah, we'd beaten them about a month before, felt confident going into the game. They'd lost Cooter in the game against us, so he'd had a huge year. That was a big impact on them, and confident going into the game and got the job done.
The build-up to the game is obviously huge, and you know, at Wendy Hill, you have so many supporters there during the week watching us train, and then you're rolling into the grand final parade, and I was the youngest in that side, and a lot of those guys that played in the '93 premiership were obviously the same age as me, so they really helped me, I guess, get a grasp of the week and really not take it for granted.
This is special, but tomorrow hopefully will be even more special.
It was a good build-up, normal week. You've got to keep it as much or as normal as possible, even though it's not a normal week.
As the crowd now starts to say to James Hird, welcome to the MCG. This is the game that we've been waiting for.
I spent so much time trying to keep it under wraps and make it feel like another game that unfortunately it feels a bit like another game. But I remember the first quarter in particular, because, you know, you're still nervous about the first quarter. Things can go wrong. We were obviously favoured. We felt like we were the better team, but things can go wrong, and we just hit them with everything we could in the first quarter.
Alessio and Simmons. Catches him. Gee whiz. Michael Long just charged straight through him, isn't it?
I think Michael Long's hit on the Melbourne ruck win was just an intent that really let everybody know that I'm not here to lose a grand final.
Barnard can kick a goal. 49 metres out. He's enjoyed the goal today, and he's got another one. That's number 4.
It's really hard to describe what the feeling is and how to explain it, because, you know, it's something that you do strive for. You strive for that as a footballer, to win a premiership and to be remembered as a premiership player, and it's so special to me. It's so important to me, and I'm just so honoured to say that I'm a premiership player for the Essendon Football Club.
G'day guys, it's Brendan Goddard here. Driving the conversation, I'm here with Alex and I'm going to ask him a few questions on what it means to be an Essendon supporter. What is your most memorable moment?
That was probably Anzac Day 09, the last couple goals in the last...
Yeah, Zara kicked that goal when it just started raining.
There was a bit of man love in the crowd.
A bit of man love, it's always a good thing. To say thank you for your continued support of Essendon Footy Club, Kia is offering a substantial saving on all cars for anyone who's been a member for longer than 12 months. If you like the look of this wonderful Kia Sorrento, you could save up to $2,600 if you buy one, just for supporting your favourite club. Go to the URL on the screen to learn about all of Kia's Essendon member offers.
Yeah, what makes a great team, I think, is great relationships, great player and coach relationships, and also with your teammates. We've got care, competitive and self-driven. They're all values that help the team be successful, but they also bring the group together.
That continued drive throughout the club and to be competitive in the field we operate in, and we're always striving to be the best.
We focus a lot on working together to get through obstacles and tough times, and I think that's what makes teams great, the ones that come together and work as a unit.
In business, it's a very competitive environment, just like it is with football, so you always try and be the best, and I think the True Value are the best in their field, and that's definitely what we're striving to be.
Good on you guys, welcome back for another edition of Dyson's Diary. This week we're obviously looking forward to bouncing back after a bit of a disappointing one last week against the Pies. The boys are up and about this week and looking forward to taking on West Coast. A couple of things happening this week. We've got Brent Stanton's 200th game for the club, which is an outstanding achievement, and Stance has been a fantastic player for this footy club, and he's a ripping bloke, so everyone get around Stance on Sunday. Also, to bring your own scarves to the game. Remember old Sheeds famously waving his jacket around against West Coast all those years ago, so it'd be good if everyone could bring their scarves and get them waving as well for the game. So looking forward to seeing everyone there, and can't wait to take on West Coast. Good on you guys, see you next week.
Campbell, the fresh legs, he goes long and strong, Edwards, and up goes Dustin Fletcher, 20 years in the game, and he's stood his ground, and what a tower of strength he's been for the Bombers over those 20 seasons.
I remember the first game of 2012, North Melbourne, who were, always tough games, and I remember the game sort of went, to and fro, and the scores were level for a fair bit of it, and we kicked away just towards the end, but instead of spoiling this one, I went up and actually took a reasonable strong pack mark that I don't do a lot, to be honest. So it was a good way to start the year, and having that confidence that you could go through.
Across the face, and the Bombers prevail. You've got to love this game.
I suppose the experience to stand up in those moments, it really does help, and again, whether it be a mark or a spoil or even a kick out of bounds, sometimes it's just the little things that get you over the line.
One thing that most people wouldn't know about me is I speak fluent Indonesian.
And goes to full forward, and there he is. Bill Chambers, A5 last week and the first today.
My superstitions, before a game, I put my socks on one side of the room and my boots on the other side of the room. The best thing about playing for the Essendon Footy Club is I get to come to work every day with 40 of my close mates and go out there and train and do what I love doing. Don't forget to visit the Essendon website to take part in the fan segment for your chance to win an Antler prize pack.